Okay, back at it. Holes cut out, top put on, and here's the little hack I had to do since I cut all this wrong. I cut some pieces wrong, and shit, the top came out too short. But I'm not gonna buy another piece of wood. I did check the receipt last night. $53 for a piece of 3/4 inch MDF. 49 by 97 full sheet. So $53. But anyway, you can see right here what I did. I just kind of had to half-ass it right there because I'm not cutting another piece. And that, I didn't fully notch it. I didn't fully put an angle on it. So that made it fit here tighter. It took up about an 1/8 inch gap. And then I just slathered it with wood glue. And then eventually I'm going to take this right here and sand this down smooth, because when I shut the back seat it does hit this, so I'll sand this down smooth. And then back here I have it marked right here, and on the back side right here. So this little section right here needs to be brought down probably a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch, because there's a plastic piece on the back seat that hits this right here. And this whole back I may angle down anyway. Maybe not, I don't know. But anyway, this is it so far. I guess once this dries, I'm gonna glue the inside a little bit more and then start sanding it. And then I'll bring you back whenever I start sanding it, getting it closer to being done. Oh, also, one more thing. This box over here, if you look at that, if you can read upside down, it says 9 1/4 for the cutout diameter. Well, when I cut these out, I'll show you here. The holes are kind of janky because it's hard to cut. It's hard for me to cut smaller circles. But if I measure just like, that's about halfway, I'm pretty much dead nuts on 9 1/4. Well, I've sat one of the speakers in here and it was loose as hell. Really loose. Like I could slide it up all the way and see a gap. So this hole is way too big. So that is not right on the box. This side, I decided to cut a little smaller, and I actually cut it. I cut this side. Hold on, let me get it. Let me get it even. This side's like in between 9 and 9 1/8. A 16th something, 32nd, 16th. Quite a bit smaller, and one of those speakers actually fits pretty tight in here. Like there's still a little bit of wobble, like barely any slack in there. So probably if I cut these out 9 inch diameter, it would have fit in there snug. So that on the box is not right. 9 1/4 is way too big. But anyway, got the top glued on. Yeah, anyway, I forgot to mention that. So I'll come back once all this stuff dries and I sand on it some. All right, back out here again. I got the port cut, port installed, and I forgot to get some fiberglass resin. So I want to see if this wood glue right here, I don't know, but I want to see if it will glue in this port right here good enough to hold it for when I get fiberglass resin. I can put some around the edge and then shape it and sand it. But as long as it will dry and hold that in there good enough, obviously I'm not going to leave it like that. But anyway, got the inside glued in. Waiting on glue to dry. Then once I get this done, I can sand this box, sand all the rough edges that I freaking didn't cut straight. Because sometimes it's hard to cut this shit with just a regular saw. You don't have a table saw or anything, but hey, it's good enough. I mean, all the pieces, I mean, if you want to look at gaps right here, I mean, it's a hair off right there, a hair off right there, a hair off on this side, but a little bit off on this side. But this piece, yeah, this is a piece I cut too short because it's also a hair off right there. This piece may have actually went to this side. These two pieces I might have gotten mixed up. But yeah, just sanding. I got my little orbital sander here. This is an old one right here. Works good, works about like a DA. And also got the 7-inch angle grinder down there with a tiger pad on it that will, if you're not careful, take this down to nothing. But if you just take that big ass over the top OP angle grinder and just kind of lightly skim this, it'll take a section out, a little section, just to kind of round off all the edges. I mean, that's the best I'm gonna do. I don't have a router or any bits or anything, so it'll be good enough. And then attack it with sandpaper and smooth it up, and then get some black paint. Maybe I could try to find some truck bed liner or something just to coat this thing real good. And that port right there, I cut out to about 33, 32 hertz. It called for a 9-inch port and a 4.5-inch diameter size. So this port I cut out at 10 inches, or I cut a 10-inch piece. So that's my basic math right there. And it comes really close to the bottom right there. I may need to add something there or glue it in because that's really close. As you can see, I've got like probably a piece of 12 gauge wire under it to space it up so it's even right there. But man, I didn't account for that. Or I could have brought this in right here to where it was even and made it less. But my idea was to tape this, fill that gap in with fiberglass resin, and then sand kind of a smooth rollover. But that's it for now, I guess. All right. Got the box all sanded up. Rounded off the edges, as you can see. Put a thick-ass coat of paint on the top. I mean, she thick. Real thick. Big booty thick. I guess I never learned my lesson how long it takes this paint to dry. And I went with the Rust-Oleum Gloss Black. They didn't have the Professional there, but they had that. Got the roller and stuff right there. And yes, that's a dustpan because I forgot to get a tray. Oh well, it was clean. I don't even use it in here, as you can tell. But anyway, got the front coated real good. The sides coated real good. The bottom just has one coat, not even finished because it's the bottom. You're not going to see it. And then the top up here only got the first 2 inches coated real well. Because this part, obviously, you're not gonna, that has one coat on it too. You're obviously not gonna see that because the seat sits on it. So you're only gonna see the sides, the front, and a little bit of the top. So that's painted good enough. Now the waiting game. How long is this gonna take to dry? Probably a long time, but that's fine because I'm out of money. So this is gonna sit in here till I start working. I still haven't gotten a phone call yet back. But, you know, I know that probably takes time, so hopefully they'll call me back. I may call him back tomorrow just to double check, see everything's going okay. But anyway, this is going to sit in here for days because I do not want to touch it and, you know, mar it up and get fingerprints all over it. You know, who knows how long this will take to dry. This is like the worst paint when it comes to drying. But once it does dry good, I'll go ahead and put the box in the truck for now. That way it can sit on that carpet, start pushing down the carpet. And eventually when I start working, I'll get an amplifier, either a 1500.1 or a 2000.1 Scar, whichever one comes up for sale, refurbished on their store on eBay. How the price differences, maybe a 2,000 if they have a cheap enough one that's refurbished, or a 1,500. Either one I think will do for the SDR10s. But also, I did not get any fiberglass resin because that shit is fucking expensive. It was $30 for a can at the Lowe's in Nacogdoches. I don't even know how much it is here, probably higher here. So I just took wood glue. I laid some wood glue in there and just glued the port in. It's held in tight. And in 20 years, when this top is dry, I'll flip it upside down and glue the backside. But as you can see, I left it rough. I just kind of sanded it, gave it a little bit of a rollover, sanded it somewhat. That's good enough for me. I'm not going to make that any better because it's not going to make a damn bit of difference how this box is going to sound. It just won't. If anything, I don't think this port is too small. If anything, the port will be too small and you'll hear wind chuffing. But I don't think it will. That's a 4.5 inch inner diameter port. I don't think these 210s, I don't know. Who knows? This box may end up being shitty. But at least it's just a port. I could always cut that port out, put a square port, a slot port in or something. But as far as the box goes, I mean, the box should be around 3.5 cubic feet. You know, probably 3.4 with all the internal bracing or something. I don't know. But I guess that's it for now. That's all I can do for now. This box build is over. I guess I may come out here a couple of days before I upload the video and just do a check-in to see if this box is dry. Find an inconspicuous area to touch and just test it. Because I bet it's going to take a long time for this to dry, because that shit is... I only painted one coat here and on the bottom, several coats on the side and the front. And as you can see, this can right here, I mean, that was a full can that I purchased. You know, obviously, it's pretty empty now, and that's all I got left. Hardly nothing in there. So there's a lot of paint on the front and sides of this thing. I mean, you can see how slick it is. I mean, yeah, it's got the bubbles in it, but I'm not going any thicker. I mean, looks damn nice except for that janky looking port right there, but I'm not putting any more work into it. It's good enough. That port is glued in pretty tight, and I'll just glue the backside whenever I can flip this box over with. But anyway, that's it for now. I might come back once or twice just to see how this stuff dries, waiting on paint to dry. That's about it.